Okay, so in the previous video we talked about addition of some complex numbers. Now it's time to talk about some subtraction. Let's say we have a complex number 4 minus I subtracted from 5 plus 8I. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and talk about a little base rule here when we're talking about subtraction of complex numbers. What we want to do is we want to take this minus sign here and we're going to distribute it to every sign inside of my parentheses. What that means is when we distribute a negative sign, let's go ahead and put this as a note over here because this is a very important thing, especially when you're dealing with polynomials. Okay, when you subtract complex numbers, distributing the negative sign changes the sign of all numbers. Okay, I want you guys to write that down. When you subtract complex numbers, distributing the negative sign changes the sign of all numbers. So how does that look? Well, let's go ahead and do a problem. This problem here, if we take 4 minus I and we're going to distribute that negative sign, so we end up with, now actually we drop the parentheses also when we distribute, so it doesn't turn into multiplication. That's where a lot of students get confused. They'll keep the parentheses and then they'll multiply. That's not what we do. Well, after we distribute that negative sign, what we do is we drop the parentheses. So it'll be 4 minus I minus 5. Since that 5 was a plus, we change it to a minus. Okay, so this is how it looked at first. This 5 was a plus. We multiplied times a negative and it became a minus 5. Okay, minus 5, and this 8 was a plus. We multiplied times a negative and became a minus 8I, right? So it'll be 5 minus 8I, okay? All right, perfect. Now what we want to do after this, let's take the same thing. We're going to set our blue, we're going to add our blue with our blue, and we're going to add our pink with our pink, okay? So let's take the blue plus the blue. Well, the blue plus the blue here says that we're going to take 4 plus a minus 5. All right, and then the pink here says we're gonna add that to, let's see where we at here. Let's take a minus I. We're gonna subtract it from minus I minus 8I. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do this here. 4 plus 5, negative 5I be 4 minus 5, and then we have a minus I. Well, let's get the same color. We have a minus I minus 8I. Okay. All right, so let's look here. So let's go ahead and do this. 4 minus 5 will be a negative 1. And then we take minus I minus 8I. Okay, this turns into addition because we're actually going to add these and we're going to keep the negative sign. And it's going to be, this is assuming it's a 1 in front of here. So it'll be 8 plus 1, which would be 9. So it'll be minus 9I. And that indeed is my answer. So my answer is in the form of A plus BI. It will be minus 1 minus a 9I. And that is my answer. The difference of 4 minus I and 4 plus 8I. Okay, now let's do another example here. Let's do another example. Okay, let's say we have, well, let's go ahead and do this here. Let's say we have 6 minus 2I plus a minus 6 plus 2I. What does this here say? Now, like I said, we want to get in the habit of distributing this sign to everything over in here, right? But when we distribute this positive sign, remember what I said last time, it doesn't change anything. So we're still left with the same thing, 6 minus 2I minus 6I. I'm sorry, not minus 6I, minus 6 plus 2I, okay? Same thing, we set our blue equal to our blue. We add our blue to our blue, and we add our pink to our pink. Okay? So this blue will be 6 minus 6, and then this pink here, we're looking at minus 2 plus 2i. We're looking at minus 2i plus 2i, right? Okay, after we do this here, we see that this blue, 6 minus 6 is 0, and then minus 2i plus 2i, these are going to end up canceling out, and we're going to be left with 0. So 0 plus 0i will give us what? 0. So this is equivalent to 0. Okay? Let's go ahead and do one more since we have a little bit more time here left in our video. Let's go ahead and do one more example. Let's take, for example, this is a good problem here. Let's take 10 plus 3i. Okay. Let's take 10 plus 3i minus 10 minus 4i. All right. Well, what do we do first? We want to distribute this sign. Okay. This becomes 10 plus 3i minus 10. This negative times a negative gives me a positive, so it's plus 4i because this changes to the opposite, right? So it'll be plus 4i. Okay. And then let's go ahead and do our blue plus our blue, and then our pink plus our pink, right? So blue plus blue, we have 10 minus 7, okay, plus 3i plus 4i. 3i plus 3i, what does that equal to? What does that give me? That gives me what? Well, let's talk about 0. Let's talk about 10 minus 10 first. 10 minus 10, of course, is 0. Plus 3, okay, 1 second, plus 3i plus 4i, which is 7i. So 0 plus 7i is the same thing as writing 7i. 1 minute here. It's the same thing as writing 7i. Okay, let's get that access stuff out of there. 1 minute here. It's the same thing as writing here. Like we said, it's the same thing as writing 0 plus 7i is equal to 7i. Okay, and this answer here is 7i is equivalent to 10 plus 3i minus the difference of 10 minus 4i. Okay.